Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name is Preston. I'm here with Sam. Say hello.
I'm really into our intro music. I'm really into those songs. Like, they're so random. I don't know the name of them, but when they play, I really enjoy them.
They're free to play.
Shout out YouTube. And we're back with Meta Monday on a Monday, thank God.
Yeah, we get it right every once in a while. There was a big tournament here. Um, I think it's East Coast PPG Treasure Cup.
Yep.
That was a lot to say for me for some reason. We got a lot of good data for this too. And as always, the man that is on the plan, Orange Samurai, with just an incredible covering of another tournament.
Yeah, he's on top of all of the Eastern and Western events. He's posting decks from local tournaments. So if you're interested in competitive, I would give him a follow. There's a ton of lists on his profile constantly. If you're ever looking for something fun or different, or if you just want to see the cards posted quickly or at different tournaments, I'd give him a follow. There's a lot of cool stuff and resources here. Really cool community. But there was this really cool tournament. The first thing we wanted to go over was the breakdown of all of the online decks that were played. Definitely the most interesting thing is there is a lot of red. Oh wait, you can't see them all. It's literally more than 50% red, heavy chunks into Zoro, heavy chunks into Newgate, and the next most played deck after is starter deck Luffy. Set 2 was a lot of red. We saw it in the East. Kinemon was there, but still in high quantity, so we weren't seeing this discrepancy there. But Kinemon was trending downwards, and we're seeing what would happen if they continued. So this isn't too crazy, but man, this is a pretty large gap for the other colors for this large of a tournament.
Yeah, so there's 309 decks that included red cards. That's including the red-green options. And then, surprisingly, a decent number of Kinemon showing up here at 58. There's just around 100 decks that, over 100 because of red-green law, that had green cards. So red and green are still massively the most popular colors here. But red with 309 is just an outstanding number of red decks. Just further pushing the fact that this set is just so unbalanced towards red, and it continues to be. So today we're going to be talking about the top 4 red decks. I mean, the top 4 winners of this tournament, which just happened to be first and second. Congrats, red, green law. Shout out to Justin and Jimmy. And then followed by Edward Newgate and Luffy. I'm always happy to see a Luffy. Paul and Nico. You guys are great pilots. It takes a lot to win one of these tournaments, so congrats. Jumping into the laws. If you just looked at both of them at the same time, you would think it's the same deck. There is one card different, and it's a 2 count. One is playing Zoro, the film Zoro, and the other one is playing X-Drake. That's it. It's just a good deck. You play the same cards.
Yeah, Law is, we've said it before on this channel, it's not a deck that really, you're not going to find crazy outplays through your card selection. It's really dedicated on how good you are at this leader, when to play when you're playing it. It's really rewarding because we're seeing it more and more in the tops. There was a lot of laws that are competing. I think the last tournament we had this breakdown, there was only about 32 laws, I think it was. It's gone up to 50. That's a huge number. People are testing this leader out and having a lot of success with him. And he's probably the best leader in the set. He just requires the most attention to detail. And yeah, a long tournament playing this leader, that's a tough one. So real congrats to both the list. I've seen Zoro and this X-Drake have a ton of success. It really comes down to your play style. So really impressive tournaments for this law deck. I'm hoping we as Westerners can continue with it through set 3. I thought he was going to be a better leader in set 3 as well. So hopefully these guys take him one step further into the future.
From what I saw from set 3, it's basically this list.
Makes sense.
I think I saw a list from the 3v3, and I believe it's basically set 2 law, but I can't remember exactly. It's a little fuzzy. And these lists are basically what cross-played in, I think it was Chicago a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So law hasn't changed very much. So if you're seeing a law, you're most likely seeing this, unless the player is trying something crazy. But you can expect to see something very, very similar to this.
Yeah.
So we should be able to start countering it. Counter it with not Edward Newgate, because I don't want to cover Whitebeard anymore, but or red. So beat it with something else, so I can have something interesting to talk about. But jumping into our other 2 red leaders, Edward Newgate. This is a boat. Boatgate. Super happy to see Boatgate doing well, and people choosing it over the Strawbeard version. What do you think about this boat?
Yeah, I think the Nami edition. I know Zach would be a little happy. He was trying this this Nami or this Strawbeard version where you play a little bit of both. This is very similar, except we're only using the Nami to search out our utility. It only pulls out 2Ks and defensive cards. My only worry is that I thought they might be sending a little too much Newgate to the bottom of the deck. But obviously they got third, so it wasn't a huge issue for them. But yeah, I think this Nami utility is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool innovation towards Whitebeard. Just half and half type of version. Pretty cool. Considering we've been seeing the same Whitebeard, the same 2 Whitebeard lists, this is a pretty cool different version.
Yeah, the half and half version is something I'm not a huge fan on. We posted a list in a YouTube short. Go check it out. Roast us. I love it. It's weird, but like you were saying, if you're searching with Nami, you're getting 1 Straw Hat card and you're dumping the rest of your Whitebeard stuff, so you're possibly sending a Marco or the 9-drop to the bottom of your deck to never be seen again, which I would feel bad about. I would not want to be sending my in-game cards to the bottom of the deck. I would have to play some hands with this deck just to feel it, because it just feels bad. But it was a majority of the tops. We might scroll through them real quick at the end. But yeah, it's a really interesting deck. I'm glad to see a different variation, like you were saying. It was very strongly straight boat or straight Strawbeard.
Right.
So this is a very interesting evolution. Headed closer and closer to set 3, which we won't be able to play boat anymore. So that's going to be a whole nother evolution that we're going to have to play through.
I'll be okay once I get Marco, though. I'm going to let you know. It'll be okay. It'll.
Yeah. He's not. Whitebeard's not going away, and it probably won't go away anytime soon. Ridiculously or affect more life.
Yeah.
Interesting effects. So.
Yeah.
Not going anywhere.
Nope.
Luffy. Talk about Luffy.
Yeah, Luffy's really exciting. I think Westerners definitely favored him because he's a little more control. He's a little slower. I think he fits our style. I think that's why we play Dofi a lot. So it kind of fits the mold. I think we sacrifice a better Whitebeard matchup for a better Law matchup. I think Deuce helps these matchups a lot. This is probably one of the more interesting cards. You really can't run Deuce in Zoro and other decks because it requires 2 Dons to activate his effect. So you have this utility with Luffy to be able to play this guy, and he's able to take out really annoying cards. If your opponent Law is stacking a bunch of searchers or whatever they need for their 5 combo, Deuce is really interesting to clear him up. And if you don't have uses for Deuce, he's a 2K. So he always finds, value in your matches. And yeah, it's just nice to see a different red leader, maybe. It's still red. These are all the same cards. There's nothing different here that I'm pointing out other than Mass Deuce. That's why I focused on him. But if we're seeing a lot of the same cards, red's just a good color. These are all just good cards. So shout out Luffy.
Yeah. This deck gets to play the tech side of red so much harder also. You're getting to play Gordon a little bit more aggressively. You get to play Otama and all of the minuses so that you can get over annoying stuff like the 8-drop kit if you end up seeing it. And then you get to end strong with Edward Newgate. like you were talking about Deuce, Luffy also gets to get played in this for that same reason. If you want to hit unblockable,
Hmm.
you can use a leader effect and then attach one to be able to get that extra push. Um, I would expect to see a couple other effects that allow you to get away with some shenanigans with Luffy's effect, but
Hmm.
there's only really like Deuce and Luffy are the big ones. You might be able to drop one onto Nico if you need to, just to
Yeah.
slide it in.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's a nice, refreshing, different version of Red that's still just another Red deck. I'm happy to see Luffy though.
Yeah.
It being one of the first leaders, we saw people still holding on to it. I think if I look at the numbers, there was 36 of this Luffy played,
Hmm.
and there was 30 Doflamingos.
Hmm.
So people are showing up, like you were saying, with blue just as strong as they are with Luffy.
Hmm.
The Luffys are just rising to the top because there's just so many more good red cards.
Yeah, that's what it bottles down to. And you're right; they do get to play more of the tuck style. We're playing 4 Deuces, 4 Robins, and 4 Vistas. We're not allowing any weenies to have any fun. This is really good into Zoro as well. It just doesn't have seem to have a lot of fun into Whitebeard probably. That's probably why we're playing King Do, and it lets you play your turns really optimally. If you're on odd, you can slam Nico, and on turn 5 you play King Do, and with your leader effect you can activate Robin's effect. Like you have a lot more optimization. It gives you a different feel for red, even though they are the same card. So it's cool, and I think it does cater to the West. So shout out to y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you want to just scroll through the?
Yeah. There were some interesting things here. Fifth place was a kid. He was absolutely dead to this channel, but here we are, still talking about him. It's interesting that he topped, considering the Kinemon count. There was a large discrepancy between the two. So this hide the Yamato style is working. I don't know. I think if we look at the red decks, I think most of them were only playing 2 or no jet pistols. So without jet pistol, Yamato's not easily killed. You would have to Otama, then do something else to kill her. But then you're not using that Otama for kid, so you got to pick your poison here a little bit. So maybe this kid was confusing some of these red players.
Yeah, and this kid list is a list that's very similar to as one that did well in a different tournament. I can't remember which one it was, but
It wasn't that long ago.
it wasn't very long ago, and it's very similar to that list. It's a list that I'm a big fan of, and I'm happy to see at least one leader that's not
Red.
full, just that contains red cards.
Yeah.
Um, when you're looking at the other 3 list here being exactly the same things that we've already seen
Hmm.
the last few months, and going into like the other law list and stuff like that, they're pretty much the same thing. There's a few little bit of spices here and there. There's a law list that played the 8-drop kid just to be a little spicy, um, but mostly just red decks doing red things.
Yeah, we can go through the other ones. There was a straw beer that is here. That's pretty cool. Even though one version's still doing well, the other one's still hanging out. So the shout out to them. It's a lot of not a straw beer, a lot of full white beard as well. I think we were seeing that at East. The full white beards were having more success in the mirrors against straw beard. And then the rest is Zoro, Whitebeard. And I think Zoro being on the lower end of this red is what we were seeing in the East as well. We were seeing Whitebeard win these closer matchups in the end of these tournaments, with Law finishing it off. So this is kind of, even though we've taken a different route to get there, it still has a similar trajectory towards the East, which is pretty funny. Law is just has a lot of control on the edge of these tournaments, so it's cool to see.
Yeah, if you're a good player, you're going to
Yeah.
be able to navigate the trickier situations and be able to edge out into some dubs with Law. But being able to top in any of these tournaments, there's nothing you can say about
Mm.
any of the players, even if they're all deciding to play exactly the same thing. Like, these are the top 16 players that enter this tournament. That means they're really the 1% of players in this game. So if you're looking for a list, dig into these, see what you want to try out, take it to your locals, and just see and feel the list that they're playing and see if you can learn something from it. Something that I like to look into is just seeing how other people are playing, just to try to learn something about this game, get a little bit deeper, and maybe at some point I'll be in one of these videos where I get to talk about myself being in a top 16.
I would love that. I would love for you not to be in that episode, so I'll get someone else. So we'll just like, hey, playing Magellan, huh? That's interesting.
Anyways,
that would do it for Meta Monday, featuring the online regional for PPG East Coast. A lot of red heavy. Not too shocking considering what Set 2 had to offer. But let us know, guys. Is this how the meta's going to end? Is it going to be just red? Is there a sleeper deck? Please tell me there's a sleeper deck that's out there. Or are we just ready for some different Set 3 stuff? Play a little something just a little different. At least with Ace, the decks are a little built differently, so it feels different. But red is red. If you guys are still here, please consider doing the YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
peace.
Bye-bye.
Can't wait to talk about Ace next set.
Ace, I think we're going to have a field day with Ace. I think we're going to see so many cool event combos that'll make it feel real different.
And then there'll be 50,000 Whitebeards and some Luffys and some others.
I want to play Lucci. I don't want to play Red.
Yeah, I know.